All right. Welcome to another episode of the Tigers Minor League podcast, recapping week 14 in the other leagues and then week 15 in Toledo. And we'll be talking Tigers here shortly. I am Chris. Well, wow. There's Chris Brown, and I am Rogelio Castillo. Alongside me is our special guest today, Mitch Stanchik, who's writing for Prospects Live, and he's going to join us for a couple segments, talking a little bit about the Tigers series against Cleveland. I wanted him to get some talk about a little bit about the big three coming to Erie too as well. And Mitch, Chris always has a question for our first time guests, so take it away, Chris.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
it's showing. I can't see my picture. It's showing me as offline. But fun. And also, I was laughing at Deadly Ninja Bees. Not anything you said. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Mitch. Thanks for joining us, man. It's good to meet you in person. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, of course. So just kind of curious about your earliest baseball memory, if there's something that sticks out to you.
Probably my earliest baseball memory was playing t-ball, and my little sister fell on the bench and knocked all her teeth out. So that was probably I was a little shaver when that happened. So that was probably my first real baseball memory right there.
Yeah, traumatic. That's always good for a first.
Yeah, exactly.
How about your first your favorite baseball player when you were a kid?
When I was a little guy, my favorite player was Maglio Ordonez. I named my little dog after him when I was growing up. So he was him or Placido Polanco was probably my favorite when I was a little guy for sure.
Outstanding.
And then became Verlander and Cabrera like everybody else.
That's great. Yeah, a couple of the best Tigers hitters the last 25 years. That's awesome.
I've never named an animal after a sports athlete. The only time I've ever come close to is we had our first dog, Princess. We found out, we thought it was originally a boy, so we named it Michelangelo because the Ninja Turtles were popular at the time. But that's about it. I never, for whatever reason, never thought to name an animal sports athlete. I don't know why. We just never, I don't know.
It's funny. I thought maybe Lulu was like Lou Whitaker. I didn't know, but
yeah. No, Lucy is named after his other grandmother. So Lucy, and then Lulu is just something I've
called her Lulu so much I forgot that her name was Lucy. Now we've never been creative at all with our pets. We had black dogs, so we named one Cole. The second one was named Howl, partly because my friend named his dog Brighton. And they're like sister cities out here. And then that dog he howled all the time instead of barking. He was just a howler. So we're like, all right. And now we've got Charlie the dog. It's just Charlie Brown, right? And then we've had two cats, and they've both been named Kitty.
Wow,
it's great names.
Yeah.
But there's plenty to get to this evening. Tigers just won another game. They beat the Rays 5-1 to kick off the series, as Kyler Montero spent 6 strong innings and does the job. Doesn't get a lot of swing misses, but was getting a lot of called strikes, and so that's all that matters. He was controlling the strike zone very well. Jake, want to mention that there's a dog day, and they named the dog Max Clark, so that's pretty cool.
I mean, Max is a pretty classic dog name, right?
Yeah.
Kevin's a good name for a minion.
Yeah, somebody has to take a shot by it right now because you did mention 2 city names already, Chris. So
damn.
There we go. But the Cleveland series was, Mitch, I wanted to ask you about, here you are Sunday, it's 1-0 in the 8th inning, 1-0 in the 9th inning, Class A's on, Parker Meadows at the plate, and you're thinking to yourself, this is it, right? I mean, everybody in their mind thought that, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was getting a little upset watching it, but then our boy Zach McKinstry saving the day. I loved seeing it, and him squeezing by was great, and that going right through Bo Naylor's legs was awesome. I was a happy camper for sure.
Yeah, that was it was one of those games where literally within a 5-minute span, it just went from Cleveland just taking the last game of the series, just out doing. And Gavin Williams, we've talked about Gavin Williams numerous times on the podcast when he was pitching for Akron and Columbus. The guy was just straight dealing, was mixing his pitches really well, doing a really good job of changing eye levels. And the Tigers had to wait till they got to Class A again. And I just was really thinking to myself that it was just Cleveland for all weekend. I know people were complaining about the offense, what have you, but then just out of a sudden on 10th inning, they haven't done anything against. All of a sudden, 2 home runs. Both I believe both opposite field shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's impressive. And suddenly, it just everything clicked, and the Tigers were able to take that momentum against the team who has the best record against 500 teams above 500. And that's Tampa Bay. So it's a big series for them as they will wrap it up against Seattle before the All-Star break. But I know, what was some of your observations over the weekend from what you can see or hear?
The one thing that I was excited about was that they got after Cade Smith. That guy is a tough son of a gun in the bullpen, and I wouldn't mind him if he was in Detroit, obviously. But Clase and Cade Smith are 2 guys I don't like seeing at the end of the game, and the fact that they were able to weasel their way through Clase and really get to Cade Smith was really exciting to watch for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. My brother is a cynical fan. He gets that from my dad. And he was like, as soon as they went to extras, he's like, what are the odds that the runner on second even moves to third? And I was like, well, if it's Cade Smith, probably not very high. And then like a second after that, like, oh, all right, well, never mind. Yeah. So that was really fun. I mean, that dude has been lights out. Just what, I mean, we talked about it last year, like heading into the playoff series, like everybody talks about Class A, Cade Smith might be better. And he has been, I think, largely this year, but yeah, that was fun. Exercise some of those demons there. Riley Green was like 0 for a billion against Cleveland, and then just gets a 2-run opposite field home run. So that's nice. Yeah, and basically ending Cleveland's season already is always a joyful occasion, right? Anytime you can do that to your division opponents.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Angel Martinez and of course Jose Ramirez, the bats really for Cleveland have been kind of really lackluster. It's been they don't have Lane Thomas on the IL. I believe also Kyle Mazzaro has a family emergency that he's going to be out for a little while from what I was seeing today. So it is weird to put a little layer of dirt on Cleveland right now. And I don't like to say never because we saw this last year with the Twins. The Twins were in the lead, but this seems a little different than the Twins from last year.
Yeah, you would hope that the Tigers can not go into a complete free fall. Injuries can get anybody. That's always seemed to be the bugaboo for the Twins. But yeah, when you've got, I mean, Kiter Montero is essentially their 6th starter, right? And he comes up and he's got a 3.70 ERA in like, I don't know how many innings he's pitched this year, 70, 60, something like that. Like they've got some nice backup plans here. Like it gets a little dicey every now and then when you see they're putting like Dietrich Enns out there or they're doing bullpen starts, but Olson's back now. Mize is pitching well. Skubal is Skubal. You get Flaherty figured out, and you're looking like a kind of a juggernaut again. So I don't know. Yeah, that's. But as you said, strange things can happen. I was talking earlier about somebody was talking about the Tigers' playoff chances are like 98.7%, and it was like, well, I guess there's that 1% chance that the plane crashes. But even then, we were joking that they could probably put together a 500 team from the Toledo roster and their top prospects. So they're plane crash proof.
Well, I mean, even the one thing that's certain about this, I was just talking about this with Mitch right before the show started. Looked at Jose, the gentleman they signed from Astros. I can't say his name correctly. Urquidy. He has got a locker room, so he's got a locker, and so he's going to be starting his rehab soon. So there's another pitcher coming back there, and I think that if it's, I don't think Cobb's going to. I think your prediction, Chris, of him not pitching this year is going to happen.
Did I predict that?
Yeah, you did.
Well, I certainly wasn't the only one. If I did, and I don't think I was the first. I actually thought it was a solid signing. So goes with it. And Matthew Boyd's an all-star this year. I was going to go through and look at how many all-stars Dave Nabrowski traded for because that's like the last one, I think. But I decided not to because who cares? But I thought it was interesting that he made it.
Yeah, there's just a matter of right now, almost like you can't. It's not in vogue to look back at the past anymore. It's the future now. The future.
That's true.
And so that leads me to what I talked about, Mitch, was just in terms of like going over to Prospects Live. We are a Tiger-based blog, so we have obviously we're focused on the Tigers. So you get to look at other prospects. as far as Kevin McGonigle goes, and those guys, and Max Clark and Jose Briceno, are they held in the same regard, or where do they rank on your list, and what's the discussion like over there?
Kevin McGonigle is everyone's favorite. I feel like talking to everybody, there's almost like not a bad thing you hear about the guy. Most people, I mean, everything I've read, he's like now solidified in the top 5 of most people's rankings. I see some of the other people like have him number 1, which is awesome. I mean, to have a guy that highly ranked in the prospect farm system is great. And the other two are not too far behind. I mean, Clark and Briceno, they have their high potential as well. In just slightly different ways, I guess. But McGonigle has kind of become the crown jewel, I guess, over time. And Rayner's right there too. I mean, a few months ago, everyone was still discussing the Rayner versus Griffin debate. It seems like Griffin, with the injury to Rayner and the way Griffin has been playing, that it's kind of gone a certain way. But I mean, the fact that was still a conversation a month ago it shows where Rayner's potential is at as well.
Yeah, that was one of the things we kind of pondering the other day on Twitter was had Rayner stayed healthy, where would he be right now on prospect list? He would probably be top 20, I would think, if not top 10, if he continued improving the way like Griffin has been a revelation, man. Like, I was one of those people who was like, I don't think he's gonna hit, and then he's hitting now, and they're like, oh, well, that's good because everything else is monstrous. He's like, he's like Buxton out there with everything else. So that's good for the Pirates because they need some help. But
yeah, he's probably I mean, besides the Tigers guys, he's for sure my favorite guy to keep up with and see what he's doing. I mean, you can compare him to Bobby Witt, Byron Buxton, whoever you want to, the superstars of baseball. He's got that type of potential for sure.
And one thing about Connor Griffin too is speed. Like I really watching him for Bradenton. I felt like he was just going fastest down the line as Max Clark did. His speed is very good. Or am I just imagining that?
He's probably faster than Max Clark. he's I think a legit 80 runner. I don't know. I don't know what the times are there, but like he's incredibly fast. Yeah, and also what 6'4"? Is he taller than that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think from what I've seen and what I've read and what I've gathered, it seems like everything. I mean, with the hit tool, like you said, that was kind of his one concern. I think like everything is almost plus now, which is it's very difficult to get into prospects. So it's been cool to watch him for sure.
Yeah, just plus raw power. He's got so right now he's hitting 333 in the minors this year with 13 home runs and 40 steals. And 40 steals. Yeah. So, no, he's. I mean, if you're a fantasy person, that's probably the guy that you want to go for. But that's fun. I don't know. It's a very fun. There's a lot of good young infielders in the minor leagues right now, and the Tigers have McGonigle is among them, right? And they're all kind of at AA or below. And it'll be really fun to see how this plays out. Who ends up being the best of the bunch?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Like you said, they're all really young too, really interesting guys. I feel like the big debate a couple months ago maybe was Leo DeVries, Sebastian Walcott, and Jesus Made. But McGonigle's cement himself in that conversation. Connor Griffin, another Brewer, the Luis Pena has come up as well in that discussion. So there's plenty of infield talent for sure coming up in the minors, and probably more on the way.
The Brewers have an embarrassment riches of like just talent like that, where they just it's the international side of things. It's like been a fortune literally overnight. It feels like in the last 5 years where the Brewers weren't really doing well internationally at all. They were along the lines of saying like with Baltimore, for example. Baltimore still hasn't really done a lot. It made strides in that department, but the Brewers are just infielder upon infielder upon infielder. They're just they keep producing talent.
Yeah, their whole farm system is really impressive to watch, especially in like the lower minors right now. But they've got a lot of fun players for sure.
Yeah, you got Cooper Pratt hanging out there, like with Mate and PJ. We love the Aranaimo kid from who plays with Wisconsin. He's just really fun to watch play. I don't know, how what his ceiling is, but yeah.
I think he's only he's a shorter guy, but every time part of my job is writing about one of the levels every week, every day or of the week, once a week, and I feel like I always get him. He has a good day whenever it's my time, so it's been fun. It's been fun to keep up with for sure. I don't know. I can't say his name like you can.
Yeah.
But
Roger used to do that too, right?
The hot sheet. Yeah, I love the hot sheet.
Daily sheet. Yep.
Daily sheet's one of my favorite. Was my favorite assignments because I got to really get a chance to go around the system quite a bit and I was able to learn a lot about a lot of guys quickly. When you're focused on one team, you don't get the chance to do that outside of when you go see them live. So, for example, when you go see I saw the Bay Sox a few weeks ago, I know they had a couple of relievers that are really good, but beyond that, I don't. Baltimore that Chesapeake Bay team is not as prospect heavy outside of Enrique Bradford, but that was not one of their better teams they've had, and so you get so focused on the Eastern League or International League, or for that matter, the Midwest League, you kind of tend to forget about the other, just how good the things are, for example, in the Carolina League or the Texas League. And the Texas League is one of my favorites because some of the stat lines were ridiculous because the offense just seems to jump out there. So the one thing I wanted to ask you about too, Mitch, with now we're going to get to, so Emily Walden will be joining us probably in the bottom of the hour talking about what she's seen Akron and Erie over the weekend, and a little bit about West Michigan, previewing the West Michigan notebook here. They'll be dropping, I think, tomorrow or Wednesday. Mitch, now you have Max Clark and you have McGonigle and Briceno heading there. Now the question is, in your opinion, what do they fit into Erie's lineup? Because, you have Valencia going to Toledo, you have Trey Cruz going to Toledo, and we'll talk about some of the moves on that in a second. But how easy do you think they're going to make this transition, in your opinion?
I think that, I feel like we've been waiting for this for a long time. I feel like, a month ago, we were calling for this, waiting for this to happen. So I think that they're all ready for this jump. I'm excited to see. I think, McGonigle, I feel like it's not going to be too much I feel like he's going to have the easiest transition. And, I think Briceno is going to also have a pretty smooth transition personally, the way he hits the ball. I think probably, I also think Max is I'm not trying to single out Max here, but I think he would probably have the most, difficult of a transition out of the three, is my assumption. But I still think he'll be great.
Yeah, I think so too. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see because what we've seen from Clark so far through his career is kind of early in the season or when he starts a level, there's a lot of sort of softer contact to the opposite field where he's kind of just punching the ball, waiting on it, punching the ball. And as he gets more and more comfortable, he eventually starts pulling the ball more and driving it a little bit more. And so it'll be interesting to see if he does that again here. Sometimes guys go up to AA and really struggle. And then other times, you remember Winsel Perez went from high A to AA and was just like, oh, you know what, I'll just be better. And so some guys are just ready for it. It wouldn't shock me if one of these three guys pulls that. I would guess it would be McGonigle, but it wouldn't shock me if it's Clark either, or Briceno. These are three very good hitting prospects. And if all three of them do it, then good night. You got Max Anderson just kind of hanging out, hitting 370 and being ignored. This is, I can't remember a more enjoyable group of hitters to watch, really, or potentially hitters to watch, right? You got Lorenzo there too. We kind of barely touched on him. Roberto Campos had his first good week in like 2 months. He's got potential, so it's just stack lineup, and even if one of those guys is struggling for a while, you feel like pretty good that at least a couple of them are going to be going.
It kind of looks like the Tigers spring breakout team almost, minus a couple guys. I mean, it's like all the top prospects are there right now. It's very fun. It's going to be a good time in Erie for sure.
Yeah, and that's a good call out there. It does look like a spring roster a little bit. And what's interesting about Erie is that this is a roster too that has been devastated by injuries with pitching too. So I'm bound to see what kind of in terms of call-ups, I didn't see anything to have a starter, bringing that starter yet. No, Steven, I haven't brought him food yet. He's not. I'm waiting. I've not brought compost food. I'm going to bring him food probably next week when we're there. So, but I have not brought him food. I don't I'm not going to jinx that yet, but we'll see. But also, it depends. Also, next week is going to be crazy because the media frenzy for John Oliver on Saturday. You got the world's biggest autograph ball on Sunday. So there's a lot of cool, Elton, hey! Oh man, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop the show here. I have not seen my man Elton in a long time, man.
I know. You've been asking for the brothers all this time. We got Dylan Smith. You didn't show up. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want, my friend. You can negotiate your membership back for a hefty donation now versus going monthly. Absolutely, and you can join our Patreon too. Either or. Whatever you need to do, my man. I'm just glad you're alive, Elton.
Yes, that's always good to
yeah.
See somebody after you haven't heard from him in a while. But
see, even Samuel knows. Even Samuel is like Elton, Mrs. Elton, man. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm just making sure you're okay, Elton. I haven't seen you in a while, or I haven't heard from you in a while. So sorry to interrupt the show, but I'm just excited to see Elton. He's one of my favorite out there down in Indiana, doing the good work in Indiana.
The Hoosiers.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Chris. As you're saying.
Oh, nothing. No, I mean, I feel that there's Jet, who was in the Discord for a long time, and this has just disappeared. Apparently, he's still on Twitter, but it was weird. The last thing we heard from him in the Discord, he's like, my truck broke down here in the middle of Florida, waiting for my dad. And we're like, oh my god, we didn't hear from him for like a month. We're like, did he get eaten by an alligator? Was he killed by one of Florida's many psychopaths? But no, apparently he just doesn't want to hang out in the Discord anymore. But as long as you guys are okay and fine, then that's good.
Yeah, but that largest ball is going to be interesting too. What?
The world's largest autograph baseball.
Novelties, man. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But either way. So, Mitch, one last thing I was going to ask you, and then we're going to. There we go. Wow!
Good God.
Whoa!
Elton.
Whoa! Yeah. Well, we have the.
Sorry.
There's go.
Exquisite.
Another.
Exquisite.
And he also gets a. Let's see here.
Off the Frickers building.
There you go.
Thank you so much, man.
Holy cow, man!
Appreciate it. I mean, seriously,
buying us a night in Erie.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he just literally paid for our hotel in Erie. At least one night of it in Erie. So thank you. Touch them all the time. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, I forgot. All the time.
That ball is gone. Touch them all time.
Yeah,
Elton C.
Yeah, Elton's just.
We're gonna have to get. Yeah, we'll have to get Greg to do like an AI voice thing, so you could put anybody's name in there, custom.
Oh yeah, because you could do that. There's a way to do custom ones, but I want to ask this permission, not just to have him go. What the hell are you guys doing with my voice?
No, I would not do that without his permission. But
yeah,
very fun.
Thank you.
But yeah, Mitch, I mean, like, how much are you involved in like the draft stuff right now, or is it mostly just minor league stuff?
I'm a little bit more just on the minor league side, but I am a big draft guy, so I'm very excited for Sunday and Monday. It'll be it's just, to me, it's like Christmas, seeing who the new guys they're going to add to the farm are. So I've been studying up, trying to keep up.
Nice.
So we'll leave you with this question then. Who do you want the Tigers to pick? I mean, in terms of like the first 3 rounds. Couple guys, a couple pitchers, or who would you like for them to target? Because I know you look at the system like as much as we do. So for you, I know this is a team that doesn't draft on need, but pitching does seem to be the order of the day. The pitching depth has been tested quite a bit. There's been a lot of injuries, but who do you see upside wise that fits with the Tigers?
I've been really enjoying the high school hitter route recently. I mean, it seems like it hasn't been going. It seems like it's been working well, so I wouldn't mind them keeping up with that trend. But certainly the pitching depth seems to be a little bit weaker as of right now. But I don't know if that Scott Harris can work his magic in the major leagues, and it won't be as much of a problem. But I would probably high school hitter. I think it's been working well so far. At least the first the first pick maybe and see the rest of the way go pitcher. But the main guy I'd like is Steele Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of doubt that he'll make it there. So Daniel Pierce, another guy, Xavier Nyans, Josh Hammond, Slater DeBrun are some of the high school hitters who I've enjoyed a little bit. Kason Cunningham, I don't know if he's going to – another guy who might not – he's been compared to McGonigle a lot. So if we get another McGonigle, I won't be mad either. So those are the kind of the high school hitters that are kind of in that range at that 24 spot. But yeah, I mean, Scott Harris knows what he's doing. I'm sure he'll be a smarter guy than me on this one.
Yeah, what's weird is I thought, Cunningham, a lot of people consider him the best high school hitter in the entire draft, but he's, undersized and probably not going to play shortstop, which does sound like McGonigle, right? But everything I'm hearing now from all sorts of places is that he's falling in the draft and will go in the 20s at some point. So yeah, the Tigers might just have him drop in their lap if they like him. I don't know. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll take McGonigle 2.0 if that's if that's where we're at. I'm not going to be too mad about it.
So
I don't want to put that pressure on him, but I guess that's some of the 60 hit tool or whatever is out there.
Mhm.
So that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, hitting is important in baseball.
For sure.
Well, Mitch, where can everybody find you on Twitter and or X, whatever, and where could find, like, again, we're, as far as your writing goes on Prospects Live, how can people look for you?
Yeah, all my writing is over at Prospects Live, so make sure to check that out. And then, yeah, my Twitter is just my name, Mitch Stocknick, just as simple as that. So, yeah, I'd appreciate you checking me out there. And, again, I really appreciate you guys having me on this. You guys are my favorite show to watch, so I really appreciate it. You guys are the best.
Well, thanks, Mitch. And again, congratulations on getting into prospect writing. I know you've been talking about this for the last year or so, so it's good to see you to continue that path, and we'll definitely be catching up soon, my friend.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. See ya.
See
you guys. Have a
Me too.
Oh, sorry.
Have a good one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. No, Mitch is really good people. I really like Mitch a lot, and he's I like to see, like, I sound like an old man. I like to see the enthusiasm of people, of young people, but it's true, and so it's one of those things where anytime I can try to get somebody to get some more mic time too. But no, I like Ellen's comment here. This is a side note. Is anybody as happy to see Cleveland Timber? How sweet it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. We had that conversation on the Motor City Metrics, I don't know, 2 months ago about like which team in the AL Central we dislike the most. And it's been Cleveland for me for a long time. I think because I don't know, just it was always annoying that they had no money, but were always putting together solid teams, right? And always had pitching, and they still kind of always have pitching, right? It's not like the Tigers blew them out of the water in that series. It was 1-0 into the ninth inning. But yeah, it's nice to see Cleveland go down, even though we have very many Cleveland friends in the baseball industry.
Yes,
they're all good, really good people. But it's nice to see the rival teams lose.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny to me is, hey Colin, good to see you here in the chat as well. Is Minnesota like, so we really enough, we don't really have any outside of Kevin Brown. We don't have too many Twins podcasters, and it was weird because we did have one on. We had Seth Strohs on, and then he followed us and then stopped following us, and I was just like, I don't know. It's been really weird with some of these Twin. We don't have the same kind of community kumbaya, I guess, with the Twins fans than we do with the White Sox or Indians fans or excuse me, Guardian fans. But even we have a couple of Royals bloggers too. We haven't had on oh God, what's his name? From the SB Nation site.
Yeah, I forgot his name is, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know. There was a time when I kind of liked the Twins because I had a relative playing there, but now he's selling real estate, and now we don't care. So it's fun to watch them get hurt and fail as well. As long as at this point though, it's like the Tigers, they have such a big lead. You're just kind of like, whatever. Like I was prepared for them to lose tonight and be like, who cares? But they go and win 5-1. Colt Keith has a monster game, and it's nice to see. Montero's looking really good. So Wins are fun.
Yeah, wins are fun, and Cole, and that's the other thing too about Cole Keefe's game tonight. He went 3 for 4 with a pair of doubles, a home run, and he's been hitting the ball. Like I was doing a deep dive earlier about some of the Statcast data. His launch angle is really impressive in terms of like just hitting that sweet spot. So he's hitting, and Andy Dirks made a really good observation about his swing, where his swing seems like it's just generating a lot more power and just kind of whipping through the zone quicker. And this is a Cole Keefe that it was all 3 of his hits today were pull side. So that is encouraging because this is the same Cole Keefe that we saw Destroyer of Worlds in Toledo. Remember that the massive shot to win the traffic in Columbus.
Yeah.
That's the kind of power we're seeing.
It's in there. It's always been in there. It's a matter of getting comfortable, and he's always been a hitter. We talked to him long ago about being able to drive line drives to the left field corner, and he said that if he did that was a mistake, but I don't think that's true. I think he tries to, for the most part, he tries to hit line drives and put the ball in play, and I think just as he gets more and more comfortable with his swing and with the competition, it's not Shane Baz is not a slouch, right? He's got pretty damn good stuff, and Keith just kind of spanked him around, and that's good to see. And he's got that level of ability, and again, still just 23. I don't know if you saw the tweet that I put out. He's the 4th youngest Tiger ever to have 2 doubles and a homer in the same game.
That was a really good pull there, man.
It's kind of a random, like 2 doubles and a homer. Somebody's probably had like 2 triples and a homer or something like that. But yeah, it's I think a lot of people forget that he's still very young.
And speaking of that too, by the way, there was a Riley Green stat today that I really thought that stood out to me, because it was just one of those stats where you forget how young he is. But it was in the Tigers notes via the press sends over. They've done a really good job with these this year. Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson with his Green 22 home runs, 71 RBIs, and Torkelson 20 home runs, 56 RBIs, are just the third set of Tiger teammates to reach 20 home runs and 56 RBIs prior to All-Star break. First time since Cecil Fielder and Mickey Helton. I tweeted that out, and then FanDuel used exactly the same picture I did, but then they cropped me out for whatever reason. So it's like, I don't know what it is over there with like FanDuel. There's something, I think it's just, I don't know. Like I always get pissed off about that. I'm like,
yeah,
guys,
I don't know.
I don't know, whatever. Whatever. It is what it is. No big deal. No big, I'm not going to cry about it. Whatever. But it's just in terms of young, he becomes the second. Riley Green became the only second Tiger, age 24 or younger, since the advent of the All-Star game, 1933, reached 22 home runs prior to the break, and the first in 90 years, joining Hank Greenberg, who had 24 home runs in 1935 at the age of 24. He's the first pure left-handed Tiger hitter to ever reach 22 home runs prior to the All-Star break. Damn,
nuts, man. Yeah, I mean, he's a star. He's a star. 2-time All-Star here. Again, a guy who was very young, like you said, and it's fun. We were saying recently, like, just enjoy being able to watch him play every day and being able to watch Scooble pitch every 5 days, because these are very good players, some of the best of the big leagues, and they're playing here every day.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, is like they have like this a group of things, and so it's something to behold here. It's not just the first two. It's not the first 2 round guys. There's like a mixture of guys here. So, so by the way, Christopher says he actually misses the Minnesota pinstripes. Yeah, I don't know. Like I will say I do like the Twins. The City Connect jerseys, because I'm a big fan of blue. So they have the blue and yellow kind of combination going. But I want to get to a question that Charles had here, and well, Kevin with 1999. Thank you very much. His question a second here.
That ball is gone. Touch 'em all time.
Thank you, Kevin, for the 1999. Let me get to Charles' question first, and then we'll get to. Actually, I have to take priority to Kevin's question first, but then we'll get to Charles. Given the age of our roster, currently having one of the top farm systems currently, is it realistic to think that we could be an AL pennant contender in the next 3-5 years? Yes, if. I'm going to give this caveat. I thought about this, Chris. It's a good question that Kevin brought up here. If, and only if, the pitching can, in terms of matching, if the Tigers can make a trade, meaning that they have to offset this, farm depth they have right now, So if they can parlay that farm system depth and trade it to a player that's more impactful, then yes, because then if they can keep the talent, so essentially do what the Cleveland did in the late 90s and early 2000s. Cleveland stayed in contention, and the Braves did this too. They had a good farm system that was churning guys out, and then use those guys for trade pieces to make the big league team better. That is ideally what you want from a farm system. The Blue Jays did that too, to a certain extent, early 90s before their farm system started kind of, weaning out a little bit. But that's what you want to do. You want to use your farm system as a basis to not only replay or to rebuild your team, but also not everybody's able to play. You can't keep everybody.
Yeah, and there are a couple ways you can go about it. I think that the gold standard now is the Astros, right? I mean, or the Dodgers, right? But the Dodgers are spending more money than just about anybody. But the Astros, when you look at all the players the Astros have lost over the last decade, Dallas Keuchel won a Cy Young there. He's gone. Verlander has been there and back a couple times. Garrett Cole gone. George Springer gone. Carlos Correa gone. Alex Bregman gone. Kyle Tucker gone. Jordan Alvarez has been hurt all year. And they're nipping at the Tigers' heels right now in terms of the best record in the American League. They've got Hunter Brown in the 5th round of the draft or whatever a couple of years ago. I think it was 5th or 4th. They found all these young pitchers in Latin America for super cheap prices. They've just done everything right in terms of player development and acquisition. You're trading Kyle Tucker, one of the best hitters in baseball, and you get Cam Smith in return, who's been outstanding for him, and you get Paredes in just a fantastic trade. And you can do it both ways, right? The Astros gave up some prospects to get Verlander and still had a solid farm system, and they haven't had like a top tier farm system in the last 4 or 5 seasons, but it doesn't matter because they're still bringing up guys who come and contribute. So if you believe in your developmental process, in your drafting ability, then you should be able to feel comfortable trading some of your top prospects, right? If you can go out and get, I put on Twitter, like, go get Mackenzie Gore, right? People think that's nuts because he's a pitcher and he could break at any time, or the price is too much. And he is also a Scott Boras client. He's only got another, one more year than Skubal. But, if you can get another frontline starter right now, I don't see why you wouldn't do it, because I think they can contend for the next 4 or 5 years, given how good they are right now and the talent coming up. But they might not have a better chance than this year. This is about as you can dream that Skubal is going to get even better than this, but that's hard to believe, right? It's hard to get much better than this. So you want to take advantage of having the best pitcher in baseball right now, and you give him a solid caddy and go get some more power bats, because home runs win in the playoffs. So,
yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
rant over.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, you have to make sure you keep that, maintaining that too. And so Charles's question was, just curious if Scott Harris has addressed the uptick, which kind of leads actually to my, to end this question, to end this kind of point. Uptick in attendance has impact on team salary. Example, they could add a big rental because 10,000 more fans are in a game are coming. Charles, I think they are doing the math on that a little bit. I think that's why you saw a little bit. The Tigers spent money this offseason. It was, people don't think they did, but they did. And I think that's going to play a role into it. Thank you, Team Randall, by the way. He said, hit that like button. Please hit that like button. That goes a long way. Thank you. No, Charles, I think that has to do with the fact that if they're going to spend, Harris did say during the offseason they were going to spend, and they did. And so you look at the attendance tonight in the last month or so, definitely. I think that's going to, those seats behind him are starting to get full now because the weather is also ridiculous. It's going to be, today was perfect. Today was 77. Now it's going back to 91 tomorrow. But yeah, that was the other thing. The change of pressure today. I had a headache all day today. It was just sucked. But anyway, Charles, to answer your question, yes, I think that is going to. Now here's the thing. Today is what, July 7th, and the trade deadline is what, July 30th. Is that right? I
believe so.
Okay. I'm not trying to sound overdramatic when I say this, but this is probably the most important trade deadline in Tigers history. And I'm trying to, I know I'm embellishing right now with doing this voice, but it is that important to get this right. And Nick right there, Nick, perfectly timed. Nick Spillane, of course, coming in clutch as he always does. Harris has always said when the time is right, they won't flinch to improve the team. Well, here's your money. Here's where you make your statement right here, essentially. And they've done a really good job of taking Zach McKinstry's numbers for example. He's in 100% percentile, Chris, and launch angle sweet spot. I've never seen that 100% before in my life.
I think that's like Luis Ariz territory. Right? Basically, all that means is you're hitting nothing but line drives for the most part.
It's amazing.
Which is outstanding. Yeah, they call it a sweet spot because even if you don't hit the ball hard, if you hit it that angle, it's going to be a hit because it's over the infield, it's in front of the outfield. I mean, McKinstry's season has been amazing. Just one of 5 completely unexpected breakouts this year.
Yeah.
So that's been awesome, and just I don't know. Yeah, I believe that they will go out and get some players, but I don't think they're going to do anything where they're going to cripple the future. But it is a strong enough farm system right now that you can go get some talent without doing that.
Yeah. I know what happened. Oh, I thought I was going to queue up Emily there, and
she popped in and then she popped out.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, no, we can. I was looking back at when Elton had a couple other things. Can Riley get to 35 dingers? I think Green will probably get to 35, absolutely. And then he also said Brian Hayes is that's a no for me, dog. Yeah. I agree. Jerry seems to be all in on that. Elton.
What did you do?
He's donated more money.
Oh, Elton, thank you, Elton.
That ball is gone.
Yeah, the Brian Hayes
time.
Elton, the Brian Hayes thing doesn't do anything for me, man. He's been the worst hitter in baseball literally since the beginning of last year. He's got a bad back, which we always talk about. He signed through 2029. It's not in a prohibitive contract, but you still have him for several years. And the Tigers don't have an extensive track record of fixing guys' swings, right? We believe that they're doing some things in the minors now to help, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'd rather go get Eugenio Suarez for the remainder of the year and have him hit 12 bombs for you down the stretch, and that's fine. But
yeah, I have no interest in Hayes, and I think he's just the thing about the Pirates. There's always a tendency for Pirates players to get better after they leave, but it applies to pitchers only. I don't think it applies to positional players. And now there's rumors about them trading Brian Reynolds as well, which look, if you're a Pirates fan, you sit there and go, what the hell? Really? You just signed this guy to an extension. You're telling everybody, hey, we're in this for the long haul, blah, blah, blah. We're, competing, do. And Bob Nunning's like, nah, screw that. We'll trade for some more Yankee prospects.
There was a great article on ESPN the other day. I don't know if you read it, where they were discussing with GMs trade deadlines in the past, and there were a couple guys that they mentioned specifically Baltimore, where they had deals going through. They did a whole 30-minute presentation on why they needed to trade somebody, and the owner would just go, "No, I don't want to trade him," and that was it. And that was why I don't know if you remember. And they said. There was it's 2017 when the Astros didn't make a big trade at the deadline, and players were actually complaining about it. I think Dallas Keuchel came out and said it was disappointing, and then they went and got Verlander at the end of the non-waiver deadline or whatever. Yeah. But it turned out that they had a deal for Zach Britton, and Baltimore's owner was like, no, I don't want to get rid of him. So, there's always that. So
there's always some dick out there with that. So. Charles, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate that. And we're going to be talking to, who we're going to have on right now who just saw these guys. That's a greatest segue ever. Just saw these guys just in action right now in Akron, and that would be Emily Walden, who joins us via her home. I don't know why I thought, and for some reason, I'm like, well, wait a minute. She traveled back from Akron, so that's not that far. Emily, how you doing?
She's in the isolation.
I'm doing good. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on with yesterday too. So you're driving home and you're literally just getting bombarded with all this stuff with Akron or with Erie going on, and as a big three come up there and talk about the reaction. I know you're hanging out with Compost. You got to talk to some of these guys, and Did you get any type of feel like then like, hey, we're looking forward to this, or what was the whole? Did you get any kind of reaction when you first heard about this?
Yeah, I know with Campos specifically, he is really tight with Briceno. So having Briceno come up and join him and Lorenzo, the three of them are such a trio, and they've been so connected for so long. So I think that's the biggest part probably for him. But I spoke with Andrew Graham and their hitting coach CJ Walmsley about these up and coming hitters. And that Erie team, as you guys know, is so stacked already. I mean, they have such a depth in so many different positions. And so this just adds that much more to a playoff bound lineup specifically and just makes them that much better. So these Whitecaps guys clinched in the first half, now go to another playoff team. So it's pretty exciting for them.
Yeah, there's a thing too where like you look at the kind of West Michigan has been world beaters, but they going to continue. You've been a very big proponent of guys like John Peck, he's been a very just a kind of a table setter. Just June numbers. I think Chris was telling me. I think both of you guys were telling me that Peck is among top 5 in the Midwest League in hitting. So West Michigan is not going to miss a beat, are they?
No, no, they really aren't. And I think the fact that you have Isaac Pacheco back off the injured list, which Lord knows that guy has had a tough road of staying healthy, but having him back in the lineup, including Seth Stevenson with the way Seth has been hitting, the hitting of John Peck, who you can't stress enough how important it is to have these key guys who contribute because they may not be household names if you're looking at the big picture, but if these guys can contribute, teams are paying attention to that. They're saying this is a consistent guy who can put the bat on the ball. He knows how to move guys around. He knows, like you said, set the table for a guy like Seth Stevenson, get him moving around the bases. All of these guys have roles to play. And I think John has really been one of the more understated offensive contributors. So I think moving these three key hitters up gives a chance for the rest of this team to shine. And Tony Capicelli, the West Michigan manager, he said this team does such a good job of stepping up and filling the need when that need arises. So I really have no worries about these guys, and I think it's just going to give them that much more of a challenge.
Apparently, Steven thinks that you look like you're being held hostage to talk baseball, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so full disclosure, I'm on my phone, and apparently being on my phone is not a fan of this format for the video. So I apologize. I'm in my basement, which is not the most well lit.
Josh, by the way, thank you for the $19.99. Much appreciated. And he gets a nice little.
That ball is gone.
Also, I should.
Touch him all time.
Well, this actually seems more appropriate for him too.
Off the Frickers building.
Yeah. So Emily's new. So by the way, you're wondering what all that random audio is, Emily. Anytime we get a tip, we have 3 drops. We have the Dan Hasty.
I think he's gonna just fine.
Oops, that's Scott Harris. That's
Exquisite.
And we have the late great Jim Weber with his Off the Frickers building, and then we have Greg. So, yeah, I would have something for you, but I don't know exactly what would go for that. But
What's your home run call?
Yeah, that's really something I do not have off the top of my head.
Yeah, Sam is. I would agree with Sam. We are a fun bunch around here. But getting to West Michigan, let's talk about. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about what else you saw in Akron this weekend. This is a team that the starting pitching has been. We were just talking about this. Has been devastated by injuries. Pena goes out there, tosses a gem, and gives them. It's just a next man up mentality. And Andrew Graham is a kind of really, to me, such a great motivational speaker because he gets those guys so prepared. But what was some of your observations on the pitching staff this weekend when you saw it for the first time in Erie?
Yeah, it's funny because you took the words right out of my mouth. Carlos Pena is one of just such a kind of off the radar arm that has consistently been producing for this team all year. And he's not somebody who's going to throw with power. He's not someone who's going to overwhelm opposing hitters. But it's that same almost kind of a Jaden Ham style where you've got the finesse, you've got the movement, you've got the pitch mixing, you've got everything working for you. And it just goes to show you how important it is to have that variety. Not everyone can throw 98 miles an hour. And so when you've got those finesse arms who can sort of, work the counts a little bit differently, they can mix those speed variations differently. It's going to keep hitters on their toes. And if you can keep hitters on their toes, it doesn't matter how you're going about doing it. It's just causing your team to be in that much better of a position. And so with him, I think you've got a good developing arm, still a little bit on the raw side, but I think he's working with a good staff, with Mike Ricabello, bringing his experience to the Erie team this year. So just in the way he's worked so far this season, and especially over the weekend, it was really impressive to see.
Yeah, Uncle Rico, or Rico, just call him. I know they call him Rico. Rico is that's such a cool name too.
Yeah.
It's a smooth name there. But then Kenny Suero has made a pretty good adjustment to Double-A so far. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts against a pretty good Akron team that is a very patient hitting team. Talk about what Kenny's been able to provide for Seawolves, which is really just innings, really, because again, like we mentioned, they could use all the help they can get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I actually got a chance to sit down with Kenny on Saturday, and we just kind of caught up a little bit, comparing the difference between facing the West League hitters that he had gotten used to facing. And every pitcher who goes that next level up, they all say the same thing. The hitters are so much more patient in the Eastern League. So they're going to make you work deeper into counts. They're going to make you have to be a bit more creative. And Kenny did tell me he has been sticking with his lower velocity knuckleball. For those who aren't aware, he does have the 2 variations, and his lower velocity option, that's the one he tends to go to the most, just because he said the higher velocity one, which can ramp up to about 88 miles an hour, he said that one's still not quite where he wants it, to where he would throw it with the same intensity as the lower velo option. So still kind of working on mixing the 2 of those, but he said he threw almost exclusively that lower velocity knuckleball in that 6th inning outing he had, and he said it worked like a dream for him.
Yeah, well, interesting. It would probably be more tumble action on that than with lower velocity, then, right, Chris or Emily? I mean,
Well,
because
yeah, I mean, I think if you're throwing a knuckleball, you probably don't want it to be terribly close to your fastball, because if it doesn't move a lot, then it becomes a batting practice fastball. It's kind of like a hanging splitter or whatever.
okay.
And so, I mean, it's a nice option to have, and really, it's kind of wild to be able to throw a knuckleball and then be able to like pour in a 92 mile an hour fastball. That's like MLB The Show stuff. But yeah, I have no idea how to evaluate ballers other than their stat line, and he's having these outings that look very knuckleballish, right? 6 innings, it's 3 walks and 2 strikeouts, but no runs or something like that. Like that works, and you just kind of keep doing that and maybe push them up. But yeah, that's just a fun story, right? Like they've got some really fun stories. I don't know if you got a chance to see Richard Gouache at all. You did. You talked about Gouache was very cool, and Roberto was a little bit like excitable, right?
I did, and the cool thing about Richard's story, and this is what had Roberto so excited. Richard's also Cuban, and you'll find with the Cuban community, there's such a bond there between these guys, and so Roberto was just ecstatic. He goes, Richard's Cuban too. He's Cuban. So just having that excitement, and I think something cool too. Just to quick add on to the Serwa story. I talked with a scout on Sunday kind of about how he evaluates knuckleballers. He's been in the game, gosh, for probably 25, 30 years scouting. And he said obviously he hasn't seen too many knuckleball pitchers because they're not as common, but he said the way he judges the effectiveness of a knuckleball is how easy it is to catch. And he said if it's easy to catch, that tells me it's not going to be as effective. He said you should see the catcher sweating a little bit, even if he knows kind of what to expect. He said that it shouldn't be considered a catchable ball where the catcher seems to be very composed and expecting what's coming in, no matter how much he works with the pitcher. He said there should still be that sort of an air of mystery to it, and then that makes it that much more effective against hitters.
That's interesting. That's kind of a fun. I could see how that would be. Like if the ball's getting to the backstop, then maybe Maybe it works. And one other thing is Raj was out there in Erie a couple of weeks ago when Max Anderson started taking ground balls at third base, and you actually got to see him play third base for a couple of games, right?
I did, yeah. So his start on, you'll have to excuse my days, hopefully not getting mixed up. I believe it was on Saturday he had a start at third.
Yeah.
And I spoke with Andrew Graham before the game, and Andrew told me that was his third start at third base
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole season. So I asked him, I said, is there a specific reason behind that? And he said, obviously, as everybody knows, there are so many middle infielders in the system right now that now they're kind of at that point where they have to figure out who can we shift to what positions, especially those high impact bats like Kevin McGonigle, Max Anderson, all of these guys who are hitting so effectively. How do you shift them around in order to still being able to utilize those bats? And what I saw from Max at third, he looked really comfortable. His footwork was good. He had some good reads off the bat, moves really well. Sometimes I know you guys have seen this too. You put someone in a new position, they look a little almost kind of gun shy, like they're not quite sure how to read things because they're out of their element. But I didn't see any of that for Max Anderson.
Yeah, and that's encouraging because they have to. I mean, everybody's always assuming, well, it's just we got a big trade. We're going to make it possibly make a trade for that, which is kind of like pump brakes.
No, I think it makes sense for his development and for the organization, and for if they do want to trade him, it never hurts to have a player who's a little bit more versatile, right? If he can play second base and third base and hit the way he has, then that's a more valuable player than somebody who could just play second base. And that's another positive development. I mean, Max Anderson has, in general, been one of the best developments in the organization this year. Just because that was, you saw him plenty in West Michigan last year, and he was fine, but it wasn't particularly exciting. And this year, he's just been hitting the cover off the ball.
He has, and I asked him about that, and he goes, I know it's going to sound kind of silly, but he said it really has to do with the guys I have around me. And he said he calls it playing free, where he said I can just go out, I can do what I know how to do, I can do it the way I want to do it, and just really feel like I'm being who I'm supposed to be. So it's not that added pressure, it's not that added expectation. And one of the great things about Max is he's going to play wherever you ask him to play. He just wants to play. He just wants to be on the field. And so I think that gives the Tigers that much more of a benefit of saying, if we need to adjust him, where can we put him where we know he'll still be effective? And just knowing that he's willing to do whatever is asked of him, that's exactly what an organization looks for.
Yeah, and that's something that the Tigers are always gonna have, like, look for that position versatility. And so, but Emily, thank you again for taking the time to talk to us this evening. And I know that I know you're dropping some stuff for Just Baseball, but what do you have? You have the notebook coming out. I would love to, yeah. And then if maybe one day we'll have to talk about that story about the Max Alba story. Like you told me over yesterday. That was I was like,
I didn't hear that one.
oh yeah.
We well, for those who maybe didn't pay as close attention, there was a bit of a what we'll call dicey
Oh,
series
yes.
between
Yes.
West Michigan and Great Lakes. So that was a little bit of it. But yeah, definitely a little bit of bad blood between those two teams. We saw a bit of that coming out this past week.
Yeah, it was a chippy series, Emily. Like, that was one of those things where it was just like, yeah, 12 the Whitecaps report, 12 beanballs. And so we'll be talking about that a little bit more.
Six for each side, 2 at Kevin McGonigle's head, 1 landed, 1 at Max Clark's head. Like, Briceno got hit twice. Yeah.
I think Peyton Graham got hit twice.
He did, and in one of them, they didn't count. That was the first time Capicelli got ejected twice in the week. And both times it was because the home plate umpire said a player fouled off the ball when the ball hit him. And one time was Graham. And the second time he got ejected, and then they overturned the call. They're like, oh yes, it was a hit by pitch. But yeah, I mean, it was a poorly umped series, and two teams that evidently do not like each other very much, which is, you see that sometimes with the in-state teams.
Well, and something too for the people who may not be as familiar with Kevin McGonigle, I've had so many people say he doesn't ever look like he shows emotion. He always looks so reserved. He always looks so, calm. If you start to get under Kevin McGonigal's skin, Kevin McGonigal will let you know. He will make it very, very clear. And for people who didn't see the game where he got hit that second time, he had some words to exchange with the Great Lakes dugout. So he is somebody who, if you rub him the wrong way, he's going to talk about it. And I think I always say he reminds me a bit of an Ian Kinsler type, where he's got very much like that gritty, just rub some dirt on it characteristic that he goes out and he gets the job done because this is his style. He's a gamer. He loves to play that way. He loves to play old school baseball. And I'm excited to see how he does once he gets acclimated with the Eastern League.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, that second half of the season for Erie is going to be, they have a chance I really think they have a chance to go for 3-peat. What was that, Chris?
I was going to put Emily on the spot right now.
Yeah.
What's your Seawolves lineup look like tomorrow?
Oh gosh. So just, are we saying batting order or just who's playing where?
Just batting order. You don't need to say positions. I mean, you can if you want. If you want extra credit.
Gosh. I'm going to go more position because I'd have to think a little bit more with who's batting where. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say Max Anderson at third. Okay. We'll start at first. Okay. I'm going to say Briceno at first.
All right.
We're going to say McGonigle at second. Right. Jarvis at third. Ooh. Or I'm sorry, Jarvis at shortstop. Max Anderson at third. Mm-hmm. Campos in right. Okay. Clark in center. Mm-hmm. And Bigby in left, and Lorenzo catching.
Okay, and then who's your DH? Do you put Myers because he's been swinging a hot stick, or do you put Jake Holton?
I'm gonna go with Jake Holton.
All right.
Yeah, I think mine would be almost exactly the same, except I have McGonigal at shortstop. I think they're going to keep playing him at shortstop most of the time just because it's Kevin McGonigal. They're going to keep doing that until they can't anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think that's
no longer an option.
Yeah, and if that's in Detroit, that's fine. But yeah, and I'm thinking, I don't know. The lineup it's fun to think about. Sorry, I just we're doing fantasy baseball at this point, but it's real life.
By the way, for anybody that was curious, Max Clark Kevin McGonigal will be wearing number 21. Briceno will be wearing number 43. Max Clark is going to be wearing number 13. So for those who are just wondering, so the you can get all the gear over at the Erie Seawolves store. Just want to give them a shameless plug because the Moon Mammoths are going to be a thing. Emma, are you going to get a Moon Mammoths gear?
I was talking with the front office about that, and it sounds like they're still trying to meet the supply and demand. So I think I'm going to hopefully try to wait until it dies down just a bit, but definitely would love to add a jersey to the collection.
Yeah, it's over there. The sales, as Greg was telling me, the sales is just insane. Like just the amount of people, like the geographic map, like too, is where people are ordering from New Zealand all over the world on that. So, Emily, thank you again for joining us. And where can everybody find your next articles outside of here, of course?
Yeah, so for you guys, I've actually got 2 pieces coming up. One on Andrew Sears, who is a left-hander with West Michigan. And then also going to be doing something with John Peck, who we just talked about as well. Have a piece coming up on him. And then have another coach's piece coming up at Just Baseball. And then also some stuff at Baseball America. So if anybody knows me, I'm always working on something.
Yeah, awesome. No, seriously, that's Emily Walden. Tip of the cap to you for always busting your buns too. I'm trying to be very PG about this, like always doing everything you can to get the word out about baseball out there. Thanks again, and I'm sure we'll be shooting some texts tomorrow about the lineup. How right you will be on that.
I know. I have to hopefully prove Chris wrong. See if I can get McGonigal at second, but it could go either way, honestly.
Jars.
All right, have a good night, Emily.
All right, thanks, guys.
See ya. All right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Clark leadoff, Anderson batting second, McGonigal third, Lorenzo fourth, Briceno fifth.
Ooh.
and then
Chaos
probably Holton Big B, Campos, Jarvis. Is that everybody? I missed somebody.
Wait, did you get the DH right?
I think I had Holton batting after.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You did. Okay.
I was trying to do like an AJ Hinch left, right sort of thing, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if Jarvis is playing shortstop, but I do think they're going to give McGonigle, the majority, if not, the plurality of starts at shortstop.
So I wanted to capture all the movement.
Nice.
Between Alan and Josh in here. So the official, Alan mentioned here that Hayden, Pennington, and Dobbs to West Michigan. So that's official. And put that on here. But the farm moves is a new slide that I added because there was a lot of activity over last week. So Tanner Cole is in Erie, so that we'll get to his stat sheet in a second. Tim Dalton goes to Toledo. Duque Hiver back to Erie. Matt Sillinger back to Toledo. Trevor Michael goes from Toledo to Erie. Trey Cruz, congratulations to him. He goes to Toledo. Eduardo Valencia, who's been off to a really good year, is going to Toledo, and then Heber back to Lakeland, and then the big three there, as we mentioned just now. So, Steven, you're welcome. I think we're going to keep this slide going forward. I think it's just because it made sense to me. It never dawned on me like, well, wait a minute. There's always been the movement's going to be more and more as the next couple of weeks happen too. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Because I try to put them on the slides occasionally, but sometimes it's harder to work them in there. And back when we first started the first iteration of the Tigers Minor League Report website, we had a weekly piece called Chutes and Ladders, where we talked about people going up and moving down.
That's right.
But it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, we have to bring that back. So Deadly Ninja Bees wants to know how much more fun is the system 5 years than it was 5 years ago. Let me just tell you this right now. It is, if you look at our numbers, like 5 years ago, our Twitter account was maybe in the hundreds, maybe. I don't know. Like, I have no idea where we were follower wise. Like, we were probably maybe 200, like barely a blimp on the radar. And when you're tweeting out thing like, here we are, I'm saying Nick Quintana is not a good baseball player day one, then things were in trouble. Andre Lipsius was a big highlight to me. Everything else was just kind of like with that. So
I'm trying to I didn't know if we were at Motor City Bengals 5 years ago or not.
We were, yeah, because remember, they were Motor City Bengals was complaining that we're writing too much about the Tiger minor league stuff, which is why we started this back up again.
Yeah, so because I'm looking back at our midseason, or here are our top 20 Detroit Tigers prospects prior to the 2021 season. So that would be 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So number 20 is Adenso Reyes.
Ooh.
All right, we'll see. Number 19, Roberto Campos. Not bad. 18, Colt Keith. So this was before Colt Keith made the move. 17 is Jose de la Cruz. 16, Gage Workman. 15, Bryant Packard. Oh,
I miss Bryant Packard.
14, Jake Rogers. 13, Alex Faedo. 12, Franklin Perez.
Yeah, boy.
Number 11, Parker Meadows. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Number 10, Daniel Cabrera.
Yeah, boy.
Number 9, Daz Cameron. Number 8, Dylan Dingler. Okay. Number 7, Joey Wentz. Number 6, Isaac Paredes.
All right.
Number 5, Matt Manning.
All right.
Number 4, Casey Mize. Number 3, Tarek Skubal. Boy, he looked so much skinnier back then.
Yeah.
Number 2, Spencer Torkelson. And number 1, Riley Green. So it was still a pretty fun farm system 5 years ago.
It was fun, but it was not
to
as...
be honest, yeah, it's not as fun as this now.
Yeah.
For sure. But that was a, we wrote a lot about that. They had 5 top 25 prospects at one point. So
yeah. Now, if you ask this question like 10 years ago, then yes, it's a lot for yes.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason why I think it's more fun now than it was 5 years ago, only because the uncertainty of Franklin Perez. Colt Keith was just drafted, so we didn't really know what was going to be taking place of that. But outside of the big three, of that big three, then of Torkelson, Green, and Dingler, or even Skubal. I mean, like Skubal was shoving. We knew the show, like he was the best left-handed pitcher I've ever seen in the minor leagues. Like just,
but you got to remember. So heading into the 2021 season, that was coming off the what do they call it? The summer camp, right? Like the minor leagues didn't happen in 2020, so we were basing this basically off the draft. And Skubal had pitched in a little bit, in 2019, but it was kind of just still scuttlebutt there. So, but we knew that he was good. So, it's just fun to think about that. And in 2015, let's just go ahead and put you on the spot now.
okay.
Can you name 5 of the top 10 prospects according to MLB Pipeline for the Tigers in 2015?
In 2015, MLB Pipeline top 10.
5 of the top 10. Can you name them?
Derek Hill.
Number 2.
Number 2. All right, sweet. Derek Hill. All right. Jonathan Crawford.
Jonathan Crawford not on the list. I believe he had already been traded by that point.
Oh, was he already traded? Okay. All right. 2015. I'm trying to think. 2015. I'm trying to let's see. Would Jose Alcantar be on that list?
No.
No. Okay. 2015.
Jose Azakari, but yeah. No, he's not. He's not on the list.
Okay. Give me Bo Burrows.
Bo Burrows not on the list. Hadn't been drafted yet.
What? In 2015, right?
Yeah,
oh, you said
he was drafted that year, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Mike Gerber.
Mike Gerber not here. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What about Jose Jimenez?
Joe Jimenez?
Yeah, Joe Jimenez. Sorry.
13th. He was 13th.
Damn it! Really?
Let me just read it to you. It's because
Man.
it's a good reminder. Number 1, Stephen Moya.
Stephen Moya. Okay. All right.
Number 2, Derek Hill. Number 3, Buck Farmer. Number 4, Kevin Zomek.
Kevin Zomek. Good Lord.
Number 5, James McCann.
McCann.
Number 6, Austin Kupitsa.
Oh.
Number 7, Spencer Turnbull.
Okay.
Number 8, Hernan Perez. Number 9, Tyler Collins. Number 10, Grayson Griner.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So Ruffin, Charles, that was a good guess there too. You know what, Chance Ruffin.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a good guess too.
And here's the bottom 5 of the top 30: Wynton Bernard, Dominic Ficacello, Josh Turley, Shane Zeal, and Joey Pancake.
By the way, it's so weird that Wynton Bernard has had a better career than any of those guys. Wynton Bernard made the major leagues.
He sure did. Sorry for all the sidetracks, but it's
no, that's okay. No, this is good sidetrack. I love old prospect lists.
It's a great reminder that not everybody on the current list is going to work out, right? Like not that we were crazy high on any of these guys. Like even Stephen Moya, we're like, oh boy, that's 30% strikeout rate and no walks. I don't know if that's going to work, but it's much better now. But it's good to remember that some of these guys are just not going to work.
Well,
out.
You know what? I mean, if we're going to be doing MLB Pipeline lists, I might as well ask you the same thing. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Let's go with 20. Let's go with 2018. Give me the top 5. Here's the reason why. So give me at least 5 of the top 10, because what's interesting about this, Chris, this list, it doesn't change very much.
So
I was just gonna say that.
This is pre 2018 draft then, right? So no Casey Mize.
That would be correct.
So you got Alex Faedo.
Okay, he comes in at number 3. All right.
Matt Manning
comes in at number 2.
Bo Burrows.
Number 4.
Kristen Stewart.
No, sir. He comes in at number 10.
Okay. Tyler Alexander.
Number 20.
All right. Turnbull.
Hang on. No, he's not on the list at all. Wow.
Jimenez.
He is. Hang on a second. Oh crap! He's not on the list either.
So wait, with 2018 though, so it's going to be Franklin Perez, Daz Cameron.
So Franklin Perez is number 1, by the way.
I gotcha.
Would you say? I'm sorry. Who else did you say?
Daz Cameron,
Number 9,
Isaac Paredes,
number 7. Does it
Jake
name
Rogers be up there?
Number 5.
Okay. And a name that I'm forgetting.
There's two names. There's 2 names. Okay, the rest of the top 10. Let's see here.
There's a good problematic mentions Kyle Funkhauser.
That is correct. Yep, that is correct.
Completely forgot about him, so that's problematics.
Yep, that that's
how well
6.
Lugo.
Lugo.
Colin. Good job,
Yeah,
Colin.
Lugo. Colin, that's a good one there. And he comes in at number 12. Number 12. So
we're only missing one of the top 10?
Yeah, one of the top 10. Who's the number number 10? This is pretty. This should be pretty easy though. Not Willie Castro, no. Guys, this one should be an easy. This is a cookie. Come on. No, not Victor Reyes, Colin. No.
Let's see.
Willie Castro's a good guess, but no.
Yeah.
Willie Castro comes in at number. By the way, Willie Castro.
I'm trying to think. Mark Ecker, Ray Rivera.
No.
Who was the closer from Miami? I'm sure it's not him, but I've forgotten his name. Brian Garcia.
Brian Garcia. Actually, you know what? Brian Garcia does come in at number. I just saw him. Did I just see him? Oh yeah, he comes in number 17. Sam McMillan, by the way, number 15 on this list.
Oh, so it wouldn't be Joey Morgan.
Joey Morgan is number 22 on the list.
All right. So wait, probably somebody from Derek Hill.
No, he comes in at number 14.
Huh.
I can't believe you guys haven't said this name.
It's
Victor Alcantara. No.
Daniel Norris? No, it's too late for Norris.
Laborde is close, but he comes in at number 13.
Cool. Joey Wentz?
No. No. Kingston Leak. Hey. Boom! Ding, 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 ding. Gregory Soto.
Oh, wow.
Number 8.
There you go. Was Sandy Baez on the list too?
Sandy Baez is on that list too. Sandy Baez comes in at number 21.
What about Castro? Not Willie. Anthony
Castro, not on the list. Anthony Castro is not on the list. Number
Austin
30.
Spotters?
Number 30 is Alvaro Gonzalez. Number 29, Gerson Moreno, which makes a lot of sense. Jacob Robson, number 28. Troy Montgomery, number 27. Sergio Alcantara at number 26. Matt Hall.
Oh, Matt Hall.
Yeah. Jason Foley. Yeah. Jason Foley, number 24. Ray Rivera, number 23. Morgan, I mentioned earlier, 22. Sandy Baez, number 21. Kyle Alexander, number 23. At number 20. Jose Alcantara is at number 19. Victor Reyes, number 18. And Brian Garcia. Grayson Long.
There you go.
Grayson Long comes in at number 16. So there you go.
Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack, fellas, but
yeah. That was a good sidetrack, though. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So let's breeze through these Toledo, who finished 4-2 against Columbus, and Troy Melton looks like he's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Melton looks like a major league pitcher. His last start, he pitched a gem, a pitcher's duel, where it was him and I mentioned this guy yesterday. Now
Parker Messick.
Parker Messick. Thank you. That was a very good pitcher's duel. And a lot of swings and misses, just a lot of stuff in the strike zone, and he get to a 3-ball count to the 6th inning, and he looks like he's looked really, really solid. The offense has been absolutely just Matt Hall mentioned. The offense has been atrocious. Chris, there's no other way to put it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they struggled and had some guys come up and down. But, yeah, like, you're counting on Jace Young to kind of be one of the big bats in the middle, and he just hasn't done it this year in Toledo. It's been a real bummer. And Hickland is all tooled up, but just there's a lot of swing and miss there. And Hao-Yu Lee, he came up with a couple of huge hits, including a 3-run homer in the 9th inning yesterday to basically put them up. They were down 3-2 and then put them up 5-3. But yeah, you see he's 3 for 18 with 2 homers and a double. So it's not in 6 strikeouts. So it wasn't the best week for him either, but yeah, they found a way to win. And, as you mentioned, like, Troy Melton's the story there now. It's that 63 pitches to get through 6 innings the other day, just filling up the strike zone, and did it mostly with his fastball and 2 breaking balls, right? Like, it wasn't his changeup wasn't necessarily working, but he didn't need it. He was just firing fastballs by guys and breaking balls under their hands, and just as you said, he's getting real close to being available to them if they want to.
Yeah. Charles is young, broken. Do we need to send him the same hitting lab that Torkelson went to? He's been working on his swing. There's been changes to his swing. So maybe it's just an adjustment to that. I know he's been gripping the bat a little differently than he was before. And we're starting to see some results. So, Jake was talking about you only get 5 days when you have a wife has a baby, referring to Matt Manning.
I don't know when they put him on the inactive list and when he comes off, but I don't think they're super strict about that, right? Like, they may, who knows? He may not be back until the All-Star break, but he'll probably come back soon.
Yeah. Best movie catcher of all time.
John C. Reilly was the catcher in For Love of the Game, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, Jake, what's his name from Major League, played a key role.
Jake Taylor.
Tom Berenger.
Berenger.
Kevin Costner was Crash Davis, right? That's my favorite baseball movie of all time.
Yeah, that's a pretty good catcher. You know who's also a pretty good catcher? Rue from Major League 2. Yeah. The rookie who has to say the women's underwear in order
to hayseed, right?
The hayseed, yeah, hayseed.
Yeah, what about Hamilton Porter?
Hamilton Porter? Yeah, Hamilton Porter?
Yeah. Wasn't that his name from Sandlot?
Yeah. And Great Bambino.
And then Josh Gibson in that one HBO movie about Jackie Robinson and Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige.
I never seen that movie. Is that I've seen that. Correction, I've seen that a long time ago. Gina Davis is also. I give her a good run for the money too. Good size, good arm.
To climb her like a tree.
Dottie Hitson. There we go. Yeah, Jake Taylor. All right, we'll have to do a vote for that. We'll have to do it another day. Okay, so
also, there's the one movie, The Catcher Was a Spy, I think, which I haven't seen.
The Catcher Was a Spy?
Yeah, it's like in the last 10 years. It was about a baseball player or catcher who also claimed to be like in the CIA.
Really?
Let me see. The Catcher Was a Spy, 2018 film. Is that Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd?
All right, it's Paul Rudd. It's about Mo Berg.
I never heard about this movie.
Yeah, it's just a spy for the OSS during World War II.
Interesting. So Erie, by the way, the Moon Mammoths report here. The guys are the big three is starting on the road at Harrisburg to take on the Senators. Catcher in the Rye. That's another catcher. Holden. Was it Holden?
Holden Caulfield. You were about to say Holden McGroin, weren't you?
No, Holden McNeil. Yeah, I was going to say Holden. Yeah. Oh, we're getting slappy tonight. So yeah, as we were mentioned earlier, Bigby though, that's a stat line of the week there. 8 walks, no strikeouts.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. And Mendoza was close. It was a weird week. Lorenzo got a bunch of hits. Anderson did not, but they were not throwing him a ton of strikes. I think he got intentionally walked a few times too. So
yeah.
And then the Campos perked up, like we said earlier. That's his first really solid week in a long time, and it was nice to see. When he gets a hold of the ball, he really puts a charge in it, and just want to see him do it a little bit more often.
Yeah, and especially too with the thing about Campos is he's been solid defensively, and it's just a lot of teams were getting him figured out where they were pitching him outside, and I think he's trying to figure that out a little bit and tuning up and adjusting accordingly. But Garrett Burhan, Chris, there's sometimes where Burhan looks the part. Like you think he's getting ready for Toledo, and all of a sudden it just comes back down to earth again. And against an Akron team that is very pesky. And there was a chance, really, this was a chance for Akron or Erie to lose their first series of the year. They still haven't lost a series yet.
Yeah, I thought they would. I think they won the final 2 games of the series. Maybe I'm mistaken there, but yeah, it was a little bit iffy, but they fought back, and yeah, it's we see these Cleveland prospects at high A, double A, and triple A, and so you just get so frustrated with these names. You see it like, I'm tired of Cooper Engel, I'm tired of Jonah Avincula, I'm tired of Khalil Watson, I'm tired of CJ Kafis. I'm tired of all these guys, and I'm sure the Tigers players are too. But it's just the way it is. And yeah, I mean, Akron and Erie were neck and neck for the entire first half, so it's not a surprise that they split a series. But it'll be fun. Yeah, Harrisburg is an interesting stadium. We talked about it. It's right there on the island in the middle of the river.
Yeah, there's been I've been told it's really really cool area too. By the way, Cole Q's only the last Tiger to hit for the cycle, right?
It's a cycle.
Yeah, because there was a team cycle the other day. Erie hit for a team cycle in 1 inning the other day, but
I don't know. I don't know. Probably, it does feel like there may have been somebody random in the lower levels, but yeah, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I remember we were at a game where wasn't it Gage Workman needed a double for the cycle and he accidentally just hit a second home run.
Yep, that's right.
We're like, well, I guess he'll take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got some guys who can hit for the cycle. We just haven't seen it yet. But yeah, Tanner Cole making his AA debut with a couple outings. As we talked about, they really the bullpen has a lot of talent in it now. And even guys like Pettit and Jordan Marks had kind of down weeks, but the rest of the bullpen was strong. So,
yeah. By the way, Problematic said the big three will face someone with an ERA of 20.25, so that would be a.
Well, I mean what that tells me is that person has pitched like 4 innings, or fewer. But I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, who are they going to face? Harrisburg has a couple. I don't think Sikora up at AA yet.
I thought Sikora was still.
In high A, and then Susanna, I think, is still in AA. I have to take a look. Anyway.
Charles says, if you own the Nationals, wouldn't you want to try to hire Federlund and lead the team? No, yes, but also no, because then it's not. I don't want the Nationals to have that kind of success. Sorry.
So they're facing Andri Lara, who has pitched 2.2 innings and given up 6 earned runs. So yeah. But he's 22 and he's been interesting.
By the way, the Nationals are in a state of disarray right now. They just fired Mike Rizzo and David Martinez a week before the draft. Like, what the bleed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very odd to do that. On the one hand, it seems like it's going to throw the whole organization into chaos. On the other hand, if you don't trust this guy to draft for you, then you probably should get rid of him. But it does seem like, they just went and took 2 of 3 from the Tigers, didn't they? And, I mean, they've been bad. I mentioned him on the other show a while back. Like, you look at the system from big league club down to the bottom of the minors, and they're like 10 good players. James Wood is amazing. Gore is very good. Abrams is very good. They've got some interesting prospects, like a handful. But they need to rebuild some more, and they've been rebuilding for 5 years. It's a bummer.
They have 2 teams, by the way. I think maybe we got them fired because remember last week. I think it was a week before we mentioned how they have 2 or 3 other minor league teams have ERAs over 5, like something ridiculous. Like I think one of them was close to 6. I'm not kidding. Like it was like I think their high A affiliate or I can't remember or AAA affiliate was really bad. Susanna's on the injury list. Oh man, that guy has been the best pitcher I've seen all year, and that guy I saw him throwing 102, 101 in the cold in Erie, and like it was snapping it off. And I think the way the Nationals are developing him, to me at least, it's insane. I'd rather have him go out of he's a bullpen guy.
UCL sprain in his elbow.
Ooh.
Well, there you go.
No pitch count for him or nothing. The way that they handled him, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but the way they handled him was just like, it was like they had no plan. So,
I think it was an organization in kind of disarray, and I'm not necessarily shocked that they broke it, but it does feel odd to do it a week before the draft.
Yeah. Colin, you're 100% correct, because we did hear that the analytics people wanted Zach Nato, and the older folks were like, no, what do you know? Blah, 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 blah. And that went, so here we are. Remember, I had to pull up the audio of me like ranting and raving about Zach Nato for like 20 minutes before. This was before leaving the pod. How high I was on him, because I knew he was going to get punished for going to a smaller school. It was stupid. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Moving on. Kevin McGonigle, again, the guys leaving the lineup, I think they'll be fine. But the series, Chris, was just we mentioned it, the 12 B-malls. We were talking about this a little bit with Emily earlier, but from my understanding, the managers don't like each other either at all.
I mean, it was just a testy series all week. Yeah, like I mentioned, Capicelli got ejected twice. There were, and some of these the hit batters were kind of breaking balls that came in on somebody's foot or hit their hand or whatever. But there were a handful that were very obvious, like purpose pitches. I think the Max Alba one that you guys were talking, he threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball directly at somebody's back. Like these are. It's high A, and the control isn't always great, but it's not that bad to throw a fastball directly at somebody's back, right? Like that was on purpose. And I think those pitches, I don't know if those pitches at McGonigle were on purpose, but I think the one at Clark was on purpose. Like it just, it was nasty. And I don't know. Those three guys are out of there now. It is kind of odd. They were like the entire offense this past week.
Yeah.
Which is, not terribly shocking other than the fact that for most of the year, the rest of the guys have been performing too. So it was just kind of a down week for the other team, the rest of the team.
The bullpen's been really good. And, the team we don't talk about very often, and so this was Lakeland. Lakeland has won 11 in a row, and they have been it's the quietest 11 winning game streak in all of baseball. In terms of among the affiliates, because we don't talk about Lakeland as much because we don't see them as they're always rained out or what have you. But they've been really the pitching has just been like was a combo. Is it a combo of pitchers? I mean, it's a little different than what you normally see.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you found that stat that they had like 6 of the last 12 games they had pitched shutouts, right? Like it's crazy. And then last week, they were. I think they were kind of. I don't know if they're lining things up for the following, like the second half or what, but they were pitching guys in kind of tandem short outings. So Sales and Elisalt both pitched in the same game. I think Randall pitched in the same game as Reyes. I think maybe somebody else, but maybe that was because of the rain. Maybe that was just part of the plan. But they're doing a good job, throwing a lot of strikes, getting a lot of easy outs, and a fair amount of swing and miss. Elisalt didn't get much in his recent outing, but 4 hitless innings will do. And Montilla had a solid week, and Rucker hit his first home run in Lakeland, so that was cool to see. Pennington had a solid final week before he moved up, and Woody Haydeen is moving up as well. Some people wanted Jackson Strong to move up, and I get it because he's exciting, but I think they want him to control the strike zone a little bit better before he moves up. I think his strikeout rate's getting close to 30%.
Not to mention, too, he missed some time due to the concussion protocol.
Yeah, and he's also young for a college player. I think he's about to turn 22 at the start of August. So he has a 28% strikeout rate. Let's see how old Woody Haydeen is. Woody Haydeen is, he's about to turn 23. So he's a year older than Strong. So, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's 11 games in a row. Like you said, neither of us had noticed until you pointed out. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
it was just, when I was looking at it was like, it was weird because I think they had back-to-back shutouts. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I went back and I'm like, holy crap. There was just like the shutouts were 6 shutouts in 10 games or something like that, or 5 shutouts or something like that to that effect. But good to see Carson Rucker get his first home run too. So congratulations to him on that. And congratulations, we should have mentioned this earlier. Congratulations to Trey Cruz, who's been in Erie for 3 years and definitely has earned. I think Trey Cruz still has an outside chance of making a big league club. I will stick to my guns on that. I know somebody said that earlier in the chat, and I agree with it. I think just because of the amount of pedigree he has with him from his father, the big screen of me, his father, his grandfather. I definitely think he's worth. He'll get a look. We'll see.
Yeah, just turned 27 the other day. He's hitting 275, 402, 454 in Double-A this year. It's a 154 WRC plus. It's like, there's nothing more for him to prove at Double-A. So give him a chance at Triple-A, and you never know.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
And then the end things night for the evening, the FCL Tigers, who are just been running ramp shot all over the complex league too. So
Yeah, they were kind of back and forth with the Blue Jays for a while in their division, and now they're up by 2.5 games. And it's interesting because we haven't seen a ton of offense out of them lately. You see the numbers here. I didn't even complete Osorio. I think Osorio was 2 for 10. He left the game today with an injury, a leg injury, I think they said. I don't know. That's not good to see. Warwick hasn't done a ton, but they're finding ways to win, and they're getting solid pitching. And the DSL teams, we pay attention a little bit. I will say Kelvis Salcedo had a monster start that we didn't get a chance to see. Another, I thought he might be player of the week again. 5 innings, I think 1 hit, 10 strikeouts. So he's looking like a very fun prospect we may see in Lakeland at the end of the year. And and then down in the DSL, Yonan Koba had another interesting start. I actually cut that one up and put it online because it had some extra data, more data than usual. It had like the vertical and horizontal break to 2 digits. It had the spin of the ball and all that stuff. And it's interesting to see that and fun to watch when you see the actual game and not just look at the box score. You see 4 walks in the box score, and then you watch the game and the ump missed 10 strikes. It was like you could tell it was really frustrating to the pitcher and the catcher. The catcher kept turning around looking at him like, are you serious? And that's what you get, rookie ball umpires. So
yeah,
you can see that on our YouTube page. You can see Troy Melton's 10 strikeout game, his career high. You can see the 6th inning outing the other day. You can see Gabriel Reyes's most recent 6th inning outing, and Rainer Castillo's 5 2/3 scoreless from a couple weeks ago. Those are the 5 videos I put up last night. And,
we have plenty of content. We have the podcast. We also have. So if you go to like and subscribe to our. I want to get to 3,000. I mean, right now I'm a modest goal of 3,000 followers. I'd love to get to 10,000 followers someday. But I'm finishing up the 2021 look back at the West Michigan roster. I'm finishing that up. But right now we're in the middle of draft season. So speaking of that, so Charles, we'll be streaming next Monday. Yes, because we'll be doing a draft recap. So we're gonna be quite busy next week. So here's how it's gonna break down. Sunday draft show. We'll be doing all 3 rounds. So tune in. I think the draft's at 6 or 7.
Well, let me take a look.
Yeah.
It's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
And,
so we'll be good to see you in here. We too. So we'll be doing the show all 3 hours. We'll be doing all 3 rounds. So it'll be a marathon show Sunday. Monday, the same thing. Monday we'll be doing a recap of the minor leagues, and we'll be recapping the draft. The draft might be a separate thing. So thank you for the Patreon draft. So people who have participated in the draft previews, thank you so much. And so if you are a paid tier Patreon member, you go to patreon.com and you go /Tigers minor league report. And if you become a $3 member or a $5 member, I'm trying to figure out what to incentivize the $5 members for, but you get we're doing our paid MLB draft. So we've done infielders, we're doing outfielders, we're going to probably doing pitchers 1 before the week is out. I'm working on a pitching article right now, and we also put them on podcast form now too. So it's the Brown and Castillo. So you can watch a video or you can listen to it on your podcast feed. So it's Brown and Castillo, and we're developing that right now. So it's been chaotic because starting next week we're getting the house worked on because the insurance check finally came through, and we're getting a brand new kitchen. A lot of it. Thank the Lord that the insurance is paying for a majority of it because we had a pipe burst back in December, and now we're getting just a whole new thing. And luckily, my wife is also very good at maneuvering insurance stuff like that because I don't have the patience for it, nor am I good at it. Anyway, regardless, things are getting a little busy around here, and we'll be a draft show. There'll be the recap next week, so there's gonna be plenty of bonus content. But yeah, if you go to our Patreon, you will see those bonus shows right there for you. So, missing anything else? I know you're working on your outfield piece. That'll be out soon. And Jerry just put out Jerry put out a piece on JUCO Jewels.
Jerry's JUCO Jewels.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, that's a lot of saying that incorrectly. And yeah, so plenty of content all at TigersMLReport.com. So I'm trying to think of anything else. So, I think we've covered everything. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Brandon Day will be back in not this week or not the week after that. He'll be back in 2 weeks. He's got draft coverage up at Wazoo over at blessyouboys.com. So check out Bless You Boys as well. Who will be you know what? We didn't address this. We'll address this real quick in Toledo. We too. I think you're not going to see. No, you're okay. We too. Somebody asked about Toledo earlier. I think what's going to happen with the Mud Hens is that we're going to see more after the draft, probably some more roster moves, if not later this week too. I think you're going to start seeing that, but to what extent we don't know yet. Because Erie there's still backlog in Erie too a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I hate speculating on. I didn't realize Lyle Lockhart went in the IL.
Oh, really? I didn't know that either. Oh.
I don't like to speculate on who gets released because it's just a bummer. But there are some older players on the roster that probably don't have a place going forward, and I mean, you could even like Manuel Margot. Like I could see just cutting him, right? Like give him a chance to join a team somewhere else if he wants to. But yeah, it's tough to say. The first name that popped in my head was Riley Unroe, but we'll see. Jace Young, I don't think they're not going to cut him. They may try to trade him, but his trade value right now is probably as low as it's ever been. So that's a tough call there. You want to keep him, try to get him hot again. I don't know.
Yeah, and problematic. Yeah, forgot Margot was still around. Yeah, it's kind of easy to forget that. He's not mentioned quite a bit. He's not mentioned as often as he was before because now you have Kreidler and Workman playing the outfield. So
and Veerling's back, and so there's just
So like I said, Sunday night draft show. Tune in starting at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Do we determine what time it was?
It starts at 6. Okay. So Tigers will probably be picking around 7:30 or later. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll be on at 6 o'clock. We'll be starting at 6 o'clock. Scott Bentley, Ashley, myself. There'll be a bunch of people. We'll be on the entire time between picks 24, 34, and 62. Stay close to everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week for another action-packed adventure of minor league baseball.